What's up, good people? It's your main man, Joe Fleetwood, the hustler, and welcome to the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe. That way you'll be notified when I drop another podcast video or any other video for that matter. Also, while we're here, make sure you go check out joefleetwood.net. You can find all of my social media links there, and you can also find cool apparel from the Joe Fleetwood shop. So make sure you check that out for me. Now, today's episode is one that I probably should have dropped maybe a couple of days ago, maybe even a week ago, but it's a good thing that I decided not to, because with the whirlwind of mayhem in these internet streets behind Killer Mike winning Hip Hop Album of the Year at the Grammys have made for great commentary. So one of the things that I had to check out and that kind of stuck out to me when it came to people's reactions when it came to Killer Mike winning the Grammy. And let me just say this, I've been a huge fan of Killer Mike for a while. Matter of fact, I was fortunate enough to be around and in the music when Killer Mike dropped one of his albums that I love. That's one of a personal favorite of mine, is I Pledge Allegiance to the Grind. To me, that's what solidified Killer Mike as a dope MC, man. When I heard that album, I was all in when it came to Killer Mike, man. Been a huge fan since and before then. So just wanted to get that out the way. But to hear some of the top streamers go at Killer Mike the way they did, and I get it, they're young guys. It's in a way it's kind of to be expected, especially if you pay attention to the culture, the way music is consumed, what mechanism is delivering the music itself to the youth, and then that transition from being a young and wild artist to becoming a mature adult, and your music changing as you grow. So, and I'll get into all of that, and it'll make perfect sense once I go through these things. But there was a streamer, and I love this guy, man. And let me just say this when it comes to you YouTube streamers, man. You guys are dope. You're young. You get money, and I get it. If I was 22 years old, making millions of dollars, I may have been reckless with a few things that I said as well. Not gonna lie. Matter of fact, I know I would have been wild and reckless, because it's hard to have a conversation with somebody who's, making, 10, 20, $30 million a year from streaming, sitting in your room. So I get it. You know what I mean? But that's also not to say that you can't learn from adults who have a little bit more life experience than you do. Now, with that being said, talking about the younger generation, let's also talk about our generation, because we get in our heads that, because of what we came from and how we had to grow up, that the way these younger cats are doing it, because it doesn't make sense to some of us, we can't show them any respect. And we got to get out of that, man. Like, you can't come at the youth and try to little bro them all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to respond to that. You know what I mean? Have a decent conversation. Show some respect to them. Show some appreciation. Let them know, you're paying attention to what they're doing. You salute them. But say, hey, let me give you a little bit of game. And then be careful how you word it. Like I said, you don't want to come off like you trying to little bro them, or you trying to, like you have some issue with what they doing. Even if you do have an issue and you don't quite understand it, it ain't for you to get. And maybe in time you will. Like I said, man, I shout out to all those guys that are out there streaming, getting that money, man. And, we're going to get into one of them as we go throughout the podcast, because I think this interaction between Kai and Joe Budden, there's a lot of value in what both of them had to say. And there's a lot of understanding to be gained by analyzing the conversation between the two of them. Now, if you don't know who Kai is, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, the majority of you will, especially if you are a fan and you pay attention to the streamers that are getting to the money today, then you know exactly who Kai is. On the other end, there's Joe Budden, and Joe Budden has been at the center of controversy for a while, as a podcaster, right? And he had a few things to say of his reaction to watching Kai react to Killer Mike winning hip hop album of the year at the Grammys. So if you haven't heard it, or if you haven't heard the rant, I'm gonna go ahead and play it. And I'm gonna play 2 clips. The first clip, I'm not gonna play Kai's reaction because you can hear his original reaction to Killer Mike winning hip hop album of the year on the Joe Budden clip. And then what I want to play is Kai's response after he hears Joe Budden's response to his reaction. So let's go ahead and hop right into that. So, like I said, if you missed it on the Joe Budden podcast, and whether you saw it on social media or not, I am going to pull it up so you guys can see it here. All right, now let's get into it.
Yo, listen to this guy.
Calm the fuck down. Everybody calm the fuck down.
Listen to the young niggas.
I don't know who this is, okay? Hey, brother, God bless you. Congratulations. I don't know who you are.
Niggas.
Positivity, you. Praying for you, bro. Positivity out the window. Who decided this motherfucker? Who the fuck decided this motherfucker? Her loss? Utopia?
Yes, nigga.
Yeah, neither of those are better than
Yes.
Michael.
Over Utopia.
Metro
Shut your ass up, no. Nigga. Yo, y'all little streamer niggas don't always run shit. Shut the fuck up.
That's the
Some people don't give a fuck about your numbers.
Yeah, we don't care about none of that little streamy mosh pit, marked card, whatever you niggas is doing over there.
And let's keep it a buck. Parks, you said it. Utopia was mid, yo.
Yeah.
You didn't deserve to win. I'll say it. Fuck that.
You fucking Topia.
That shit was ass.
Nopia, nigga.
That nigga's just crazy. That shit was, man.
I'm just so happy that the streamer, that the little fuckity fucks finally have a look in the mirror moment and say, oh, it's not about us. No, adults are out, nigga.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Niggas got pocket handkerchiefs in.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas got fly shit on.
Musicians are out.
Yeah, real execs, business people, you little fuckity fucks. Shut up for a change. So sick of these niggas. We only get to do this once a year. Well, listen, we got to rush behind Killer Mike. Killer Mike won. We got to let these niggas know what the fuck we really think.
He won and ain't sit down with a single streamer.
Little motherfuckers.
Word, that part.
Not one of you
Not
niggas.
one. Niggas like, who? Yeah, him. We knew who he was.
Yeah, we respect you. Yo, oh shit, they broke the whole console. They smashed everything. Yo, we feel that. We feel that. But niggas is getting dressed and bringing women out tonight. All you fucking incels.
And the bass player.
So that was Joe Budden and his crew responding to Kai's reaction to Killer Mike winning the Grammys. And like I said, man, it's really hard to kind of put it into perspective when you're a young guy and you're, so into hip hop yourself. You kind of can't see past the point of where you became a fan of it and where you're at that point in life. So that was Joe Budden's reaction to Kai. Kai had something to say in response to that. And like I said, man, I'm going to analyze and dissect both of these sides of the conversation. And I think they make some good points in certain cases. In other cases, not so much. Like I said, anytime you're having a conversation and if you lead into that conversation with negativity, you cannot expect a positive outcome. So let's go ahead and hop into Kai's response to Joe Budden and his podcast.
Old nigga syndrome, my nigga. Listen to me. I'm a 22-year-old young adult who likes to sit in his room and naturally, like everybody else, react to music and things like that. Okay? If I think fucking Spider-Man should have won Superhero of the Year, but you think Green Lantern should have won, and Green Lantern wins, nigga, okay, it's your opinion. I'm not familiar with Killer Mike. I was just saying, I felt like Utopia and shit should have won. Bro, why did I start talking about streaming niggas? niggas, bro. Stop doing that, bro. Like, we some little niggas, my nigga. I would buy you, my nigga. Do you understand that, bro? Do you understand that, my nigga? You say it don't come off as hating, but you always bringing me up, bro. Relax, my nigga. Stop. Respect to him for sure. The only thing I would say I was wrong at was like not even able to like do my research on Killer Mike and shit like that. But in the moment, if I want to voice my opinion, I'm gonna voice my opinion. 100%, bro. You feel what I'm saying? And that's some people's problem. Y'all don't ever let the young niggas flourish. The young niggas think Utopia is fire. Let the young niggas think Utopia is fire. You feel me? The reason why shit going so crazy right now and y'all not being able to comprehend shit is because it's just simply a new wave of niggas, bro. It's just simply a new wave of niggas, bro. And that's what it is. Shout out to Killer Mike. You feel what I'm saying? Bro, but look, if I think they should have won that, okay, let it win. Nigga, I'm in my room just talking, bro. You feel me? It's always the young niggas this, the young niggas that, and you say it don't come off as hating, but bro, that, come on, dude. Come on, Brody. Come on, Brody. I could put up like 20 clips of you doubting every 2016 freshman, my nigga. And look at them boys right now, bro. You feel me? You feel me? It is what it is.
So yeah, I will say this, and like I said, man, when we as the older generation, man, get to talking to these young dudes, we have so much hate in our voice and the way we speak to them and what they're doing. And the reason we have that, because in certain cases we just simply don't understand, we don't get it. You know what I mean? We feel like, you know, the way they handle business is either not a manly way to get to the money, or it's soft because they talking behind the microphone and the camera. Like they not out in the streets and they not out there, you know what I mean, moving how we used to move. And that's cool. Everybody ain't gonna move the same. You know what I mean? So let me address this part first of what Kai had to say. He said that he's 22 years old. He's in his room. He's giving his opinion, right? So let's talk about what an actual opinion is. It's a view or judgment about something that's not necessarily based on knowledge or fact. So that's cool. Bruh can feel however he want to feel. That's his prerogative. No different than it's ours to feel like, yo, it's about time that Killer Mike won a Grammy. And it is. You know what I mean? Here's how I knew that Killer Mike, another reason why I knew Killer Mike would stand the test of time, right? We talked about when Killer Mike first came out in the beginning, like with his first albums. I think it was Monster, might have been in 2003. I Pledge Allegiance to the Grind came and all of that. So he's been around when he was doing Run the Jewels. So Killer Mike has been around for a while. He's been in the game for a hot minute. And then he brought out in the album that he won, Michael, where he won Grammy of the Year, he brought out Andre 3000. So the man got talent and he got pulled, because that ain't an easy feature to pull. That's not. But back to Kai, like you said, it's an opinion, and he's free to have that opinion any day of the week. You know what I mean? So let's look at it objectively. We, like I said, we as adults, man, or as an older generation, we got to stop trying to little bro these cats, man. We absolutely got to stop doing it. And shout out to Kai for coming back with that response and being upfront and truthful, saying, hey, I didn't do my research on Killer Mike. I didn't know anything about him. Probably should have did that work. And that's really how I think if Joe Budden had responded to that, would be like, hey, obviously you don't know much about Killer Mike. Why don't you go do your research on him? Then let me know what you think. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick Lamar, Hood Politics, The Pepper Butterfly, that album, right? He even talked about Killer Mike, how, critics talk about how they wish, they miss when hip hop was rapping. Motherfucker, if you did, Killer Mike would be platinum. So, Killer Mike has showed presence in every stage of hip hop up until now, from the moment that he came in the early 2000s to 2011 and beyond. So it is not like Killer Mike hasn't maintained some semblance of relevance, excuse me. Now, I say that that relevance piece because that also has to deal with demographics. So if you're 22 years old, your demographic is probably going to be anywhere between 18 and 29. Artists in that range, that's all you're going to care about at all. So you don't see the mature artists unless you see them on social media, and they're constantly on social media. So they don't have a huge social media presence and they're not in the media trending or something. You have no idea who they are. That doesn't mean they don't exist. I'll give an example. To me, Byron Allen, he's a billionaire. How many of you streamers know exactly who Byron Allen is? You have no clue who this man is and all the great things that he has accomplished. But the reason you don't is because he wasn't around in your time frame. But the man is a billionaire. And the reason you don't know him is just because you're not looking for him. Same thing with Killer Mike. You don't know who Killer Mike is because you're not looking for him. And on top of that, you say, hey, I didn't see anything. I didn't even know he had an album out. Well, you didn't know he had an album out because the areas in which he promoted, you're not affiliated with and you don't pay attention to. But he was definitely on the Breakfast Club. Now, I'm not knocking you guys because you don't know who he is. But what I'm saying is, if you don't know who someone is, do your research on. You know what I mean? Don't just assume because in that moment they don't come across your timeline. They don't run in the same circle of people that you're familiar with. That doesn't mean they don't have talent or they're not valid in their craft. It means nothing like that. You know what I mean? So I just think a conversation should constantly be had between the youth and a lot of us older cats, because there is a playing field there that should be leveled when we have conversations. The one thing that we as the older generation have that the younger generation doesn't, and that's experience. This man has only been on this earth 22 years. 22 years. That's it. He has 22 years of life experience. So he hasn't experienced all the heartaches and all the trials and the bullshit that we've had to experience once we get to, 35, 40, 45, and 50. He doesn't have all of that experience. But that don't mean because we come in and try to shit on him. Yeah, like I ain't with that. Because at 22 years old, I'd be like, yo, bro, let me have a conversation with you. Let me see if I can give you another perspective that you might not be thinking about. Hey, you getting ready to make a bad move. Let me tell you about the time I did the same thing. You might want to think about that. You know what I mean? So just have a respectful conversation with these cats, man. Now, the mechanism I spoke about in the beginning when it comes to, how music is consumed and why it is also you don't know who Killer Mike is. I want you to think about this, right? When you go back and you look at, let's say, a music company. Let's take Universal Music Group, and then let's take Sony. Take Sony as well, right? And we're only going to focus on hip hop. And I say that because hip hop is the only genre of music in which we give an age limitation to. That's it. For whatever reason, we feel like once you outside of 30, hey, hip hop ain't for you. Let it go. Which is crazy to me. It's like, how can you put a limitation on someone's talent or for how long they want to do it? And I think what happens is that as you have to, these artists mature with their fans. If you came into the game at 18 years old, as you continue to grow, your music has to grow with you. Same thing with Jay-Z. As he came into the game, Reasonable Doubt hit. And then as the Blueprint started coming out, when he did the soundtrack to American Gangster, especially in American Gangster, you can tell that there was a change then. The maturity level changed when American Gangster dropped. Another one of my favorite albums. But when that album dropped, and I take that back, I don't think it was a soundtrack. I think he just named that album American Gangster, but the movie itself came out around that same time frame. So, but yeah, you mature with the as you age and you mature with your audience and you mature with your fans. So here's why that's a thing in rap. When it comes to Sony, Universal Music Group, and all these other platforms that are the mechanism in which music is promoted and consumed, they have a say in it. The music that is created from 18 to about 25, 26 is some of the most reckless and ignorant music you ever want to hear. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the sense that the music is not mature. It is quite reckless, right? Because at that age, you're not thinking about what it does on a larger scale, and you're not thinking about what your popularity and your influence is doing to the culture. But is that in that whole influence, it's the chaos that creates sales, that creates attention. And these companies, they know that. So the more wild and reckless the music is, they're going to push it. And they're going to use everything that they have to see that the artists between that age of 18 to 25, their music is out in the forefront. Because as you start to mature, they feel like the music is less relevant. And as long as they can keep that ignorance and chaos going and that controversy, it's going to sell and it's going to keep them winning. So, of course, when you get an album like Killer Mike, Universal Music Group, Sony Music Group, all these powers behind the force that drives music and drives it to your attention and makes sure that music is in front of you, they're not going to push his because it doesn't promote what they need it to promote in order to generate funds. It's just not going to do it. Now, can it? Yes, it can if they put the same amount of effort into promoting, the wild music or the trap music, the gang music into some of the mature rap, then it wouldn't be a problem. But it's also no different than, the push behind a J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar. Because those artists don't get pushed the same way. Because those two artists have a different kind of talent. So the push is completely different. The push is just for those guys is because when they came into the game, they got the respect of the OGs. Like they got that off the rip. You know what I mean? They showed and proved. They dropped a few albums. They caught the attention of some of the heavy hitters in hip hop, and they were given their props. And when that happens, you know what I mean? The mechanism don't have no choice but to push it. You know what I mean? Let your talent push it. You don't have to be out here talking wild and reckless. And we're not gonna say, like with some of the cats that I listen to, I use T.I. for an example because that was my favorite artist. Because you can tell me nothing about T.I. I'm talking about every single album was dropping, I was buying, and I was there for all the ups and downs and all the drama that man was involved in. I was right there with him, 10 toes down. To this day, you can't tell me nothing bad about Tip at all. You ain't finna do because I ain't got time for it. But that's how much of a dedicated fan of his music and of him I was. You know what I'm saying? Still is. So I completely, I get it. You know what I mean? When the young guys, when they rock that hard with you know what I mean, with somebody that they're in tune with when it comes to hip hop. So I get it. But I just want there to be a level playing field, a space where we can actually have the conversation and it not be controversy to where we trying to little bro the youngins and the youngins coming at us like we got the OG nigga syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what it should be. You know what I mean? So, and to the streamers, man, like I said, I absolutely love what you're doing, man, Kai. I'm a huge, huge fan of Kai. I just recently got into, Aiden Ross, Speed. You know what I mean? I'm not new to YouTube. I'm not new to streaming, but I am new to you guys. You know what I mean? And like I said, that's another situation to where, you just didn't fall in my timeline, and I don't fall in you guys' demographic. You guys don't fall into mine. Hey, but I'm happy to finally be a part of, what you got going on. I can witness it. Didn't even know you were, and I love Lil Uzi. My daughter is a huge fan of Uzi, and when I saw a clip, and now that you are in my timeline and in my feed, man, I'm championing you on, because I think that was dope that you was actually in the truck with Uzi when that video was made, man. So I just want to say, hey, man, I appreciate what you guys are doing. Streamers created a new wave for cats to get money who probably weren't getting no money or didn't think that they could by doing this whole streaming thing. And I also want to say shout out to Joe Budden, man, because Joe, and regardless of what any of you guys got to say about Joe, you know what I mean, or how he move, or how he on his platform giving his opinion just like you guys are. You know what I mean? Is there some controversy? Of course there is. You know what I mean? But that's to be expected anytime somebody giving their opinion. And, like I just read off the definition of what opinion is. It's not always based off fact. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, most of the time it's not based off knowledge of or facts. When somebody gives it, it's just their personal opinion about something. So I think in that aspect, man, give each other a little bit of grace and understand that. It ain't always got to be a slap boxing match, man, over the internet behind some keyboards and a microphone and a camera. So let's see what else. I think that's about it, man. Like I said, I just wanted to get a few things off my chest regarding that, man. And shout out to Alicia. She's not with me on this podcast, man, but you have seen her. She's my co-host. If you ever watched any of my shows and you streamed it on YouTube, or even seen it on my social media. But I also want to do a social media drop. Once again, make sure you go to joefleetwood.net and you will find all of my social media accounts there. Also, I'm getting ready to start my gaming stream up. I am on Kick, and it's going to be Joe Fleetwood. And if you guys are not streaming on Kick, you might want to go check it out, man. They have some good ways of getting revenue on it that they're going to start incorporating, getting paid per hour for streaming. And that's Kick, K-I-C-K, not to be confused with the messaging app Kick, K-I-K. So I'm going to add that to my social media section on my website. So stay tuned for that. But like I said, if you are already on Kick, you can go ahead and find me there at Joe Fleetwood on Kick. So I'm signing out, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Peace out. Continue to hustle.